Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm here with something different today. Just talking about some stuff, just mulling things around in my head, things I've seen here recently, wanting to know y'all's opinions. So tossing it up, you guys put your comments down below. I know how some agree, some disagree, but hey, that's what it is. So this video isn't about Zombicide or any of these games specifically that I'm referencing here. It's just about the rising costs that I've seen. And I know, like, working around in the industry, why some of those costs are coming. But I think we're hitting kind of a critical point where, unfortunately, board gaming is going to hit a point where it's not financially viable for just the regular person anymore. It's not going to be cost effective at the rate we're going. So I remember back before I ever even got into board games that I would go to places like Barnes and Nobles, stuff like that. And I would walk through the board game section they had just to look at some of the stuff. And I was always interested. And then, before I made the leap and really got into it, and the prices weren't that bad. We're talking, and this was many years ago, but plenty of them at the $40, $50, $60 range. And I will give it, that was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was. But I have noticed just this severe leap in the past couple of years that Kickstarters that you would have backed maybe just a handful of years ago, and you would pay $80 for the base pledge maybe, and now you could get an all-in for 100 or 120, whatever it was. You could get a good amount of stuff. Now we're looking at Kickstarters that you're lucky if it starts at 100, 120, and they can go just sky high. I've seen some of them shoot into the thousands for board games, and it's just blowing my mind because this is a everybody hobby. Anybody's welcome. Anyone can play. And we're quickly pricing ourselves out. Now, I think Kickstarter has some to do with it, the FOMO thing that they try to throw in. Now, I'm not talking about Kickstarter, the company, but just the way the system works, that they want the customer to feel like if you don't back now, you're going to miss out. And I hate that because I hate buying a game retail now because I feel like I've missed all these yummy stretch goals. The game might be roughly the same cost, maybe a touch higher in retail, but if I buy it retail, I'm getting the base game. And one of the ones that I've said key on that was the Hellboy board game, which I really liked. But again, there were two versions of that game. There was the Kickstarter version and the retail version. And the Kickstarter version was excellent. And the retail version was just base. It just did not have the staying power. Only one faction, a couple of bosses. I think it was 6 total missions in the game, but once you played through it, you knew it. You couldn't play it anymore. No real replay value, but the Kickstarter version had replay value. So if you didn't get the Kickstarter version or you couldn't get those components later on, the game had nowhere near the value. So I was going to point out a few games here. Now, again, I'm not hating on these games. Many of these games are my guilty pleasures. I play a lot of war games. That's one of my things. But the dungeon crawl, whatever it is, where you got tiles, minis on the board. I love painting minis. That's one of my little things. I love minis. All right. There's plenty of people out there that love minis. Hell, even my wife loves painting minis. So nothing against the games themselves. The games are fine. But just eyeballing some of the differences. Zombicide's a good example because they, Come On has released just a buttload of crap over it, so I can compare then to now and see how things have altered just a little bit. Before I start talking about Zombicide, I was going to point out some other examples. Now, something like Kingdom Death. If you don't know, Kingdom Death is what is it? What are those things that chicks like Louis Vuitton? Is that the name of it? The purse? Coach. That's it. Coach. Yeah, I got her a Coach bag one time. I think she'd love that damn thing. She'd marry it if she could. Anyway, Kingdom Death is like the Coach of board games. High-end components, resin minis, and I got to give it to them. Their minis, I have never had bad quality with. I'm not saying that they don't exist, but they have all been top quality. I've never had one that was misshapen or had air bubbles in it or anything like that. I don't know if they're what they do, but their stuff is top notch. But you pay through the nose for it. And just looking at their Kickstarter, which is the absolute lowest place you can, or lowest cost you can pay for it, it's still relatively high. Let's see. Yeah, just an update pack, 185. Let's see, that's an update pack, 195. I think this, yeah, core game 200. Getting that game for 200 is like the lowest bar you can ever possibly get that game. There is a buttload of minis in it, buttload of high quality components. The box is even excellent. So nice storage for everything, storage for the expansions you get, most of them, unless you get everything. The manual for it is even hardbound, very nice. So costs on this, you can see, go up quite high depending. Let's see, just the core game and an expansion is $350, which is just outrageous. It's up there. And then if you start talking about adding in the current expansions, Dragon King, Flower Knight, I'm assuming like Gorm or some of the others, the tree one, $750 for all of that, which I hate to say is actually a relatively decent price, because I've seen all this offered on eBay for like $2,000. So that's just an example of board gaming heading in the direction of being prohibitively expensive for some. And I'm not even touching on some of these games, right, that can get real high. And there was one that had caught my attention. This one's Madara. And I had missed the Kickstarter originally. And I saw, okay, well, their pledge manager's open. Maybe I'll jump on that, see what I can get maybe. And their Kickstarter itself, I would have been okay with. Even still, this was a high cost. For the Kickstarter, all 3 acts, because this game you can't buy the separate boxes. You can't buy like acts 2 and 3 to play the game. You have to have act 1. That's the core game must have. Anything else is superfluous. So think everything else is expansions. But you could get the 3 main acts of the game and some stretch goals for $275, which actually is relatively decent price for all the component stuff of it. This was one of the extra Kickstarters they had run because they had done other Kickstarters previous to this. I think this was like a second or third printing of it. $115 for the base game and stretch goals to go with it. Not bad. Cool. I was good with that. But when I clicked on the pledge manager, this is what I saw. And this was like, wait, what? I thought I could like jump on to the pledge manager. Where's those offers? And maybe if it was just a touch higher, but we're not even a touch higher. I mean, look at some of these prices. $525, $700, $390. And none of these here even have the core game. You have to have already had the core game to have any use out of these pledge upgrades. Let's see, more pledge upgrades. Yeah, so none of these have the core game in it. 165, 450, 270, 165. Again, you still need other stuff. And then bundles to get it. Literally everything bundle is $950. Are you kidding me? $950. Gameplay, just to get everything that's gameplay related, $825. Wave 2, a couple of different bundles of that. Basically 700, 475. I was like, where's just the base game? If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can get the base game for about double what it was on that Kickstarter. And I'm like, really? Really? No way. No way. I'm not paying $200 for it when you just had a Kickstarter running where you were selling this with more stuff for less. I mean, it was $115, and this is $200 to get the 3 acts. The core gameplay and the stretch goals is $675. $675. $275, $675. They increased the price by $400. And they're saying that's not retail. Retail's $925. And I'm like, okay, how do we go from this, all 3 acts, where you're making a profit off of this, otherwise you wouldn't be selling it, with stretch goals and unlocks, other good stuff there with it for almost 300, at least 300 once you got into shipping. So think 100 a box. Okay, cool. I'm with you there. To almost $700. That's more than $200 a main box for the game. And it's no way, no freaking way. The game is not worth that much. I'm sure the game's nice. I've watched some of the reviews for it, seen positive, negative reviews for it, but generally well received, but it's not $700 well received. I don't agree with it. I think this is outrageous ask. Like I said, I'm fine with them asking a little more. You know, you missed the Kickstarter, it'll be a little bit more. Okay, so just the main game, instead of 115, we'll do you for what? 130, 135, something like that. Let's actually click on it because I don't even know if this has the Kickstarter add-ons, the stretch goals. All add-ons purchased on this pre-order will require payment, shipping, later date, which of course, this will be a new print run and this item will be updated to the 1.2 version. Okay, cool. But it doesn't even say. So I don't believe this comes with stretch goals. That is horrible. That is horrible. So I can pay almost double what it was for the Kickstarter for the game without any bonuses for it. No freaking way. And then this, which has some of the things, let's see, I'm thinking all of this, these are the stretch goals, all right? My guess, I'm guessing here, but I do believe this is what this is here. So the stuff that I'm highlighting, I believe these are the stretch goals for that pack. So yeah, what was $275 during the Kickstarter is now $675 if you just want to order it. No freaking way. That's insulting. That's just insulting. Like, no way. I am not going to pay that. And how long ago was this Kickstarter? Does it even say? I'm probably missing it wherever it lists down. Let's see. Last updated on June 3rd, but it definitely didn't finish on June 3rd. It finished sometime before that, but I'm not sure exactly when. Like I said, if they wanted to bump this up a little bit, hey, we got to cover a few extra costs. If you missed the Kickstarter, it's not going to be $275. It's going to be $325. We'll jank an extra $50 in there to cover some extra costs. Your penalty and stuff for missing it. Okay, I could eat that. I'm not going to eat a $700 thing. I've got kids I got to pay for, man. What are you talking about? And that just prices it out. And that's going to make me think twice before I do something else with them as far as any Kickstarters. And that's just me personally kind of grudging on it because I was interested in the game. It looked cool. And like I said, I like the dungeon crawler aspect of it. They've got some intriguing ideas with how their gameplay is handled, very anime style. Check it out if you're interested. And by all means, don't make your choices based on my thoughts of this alone. But I just think this is outrageous. There is no way their costs shot up to the point where they have to sell it at that cost. You had to raise it by $400 freaking dollars. That's just insulting. Anyway, something I looked at is Zombicide. So we've got Zombicide. This is the first one they ever did. And then season 3, which I believe is their latest, or their latest season. And then Marvel Zombies, which was one of their absolute latest. As an example of the difference that we've seen in just a handful of years. Okay. And we're going to look at like the base or base pledge. So here, the base pledge, I scroll down and find it, is, I think it's 100 because at 100 is where you get, this is what you get at the 100 pledge level. So that's what I'm going with as the base pledge. I think you could get the game for a little bit cheaper on this one, even $75 for a copy of Zombicide plus a few things, but you got a few others and it's closer to the comparison I'm making otherwise. But if anything, it just proves my point even further. So the base pledge all told You get the game and all these little extra add-ons that list down, even a freaking shirt, man, and a signed lithograph. That's kind of cool. Total 114 miniatures. And then you could add some extras into it. That was the first Zombicide game they ever did, where they had the stupid rule that had you shooting at your own characters, which they did away with in the second season. However, the lowest pledge for season 3 was $100. So there was no pledges to get the game less than that. And that was just a few years later. And let's make sure. Yeah, because this is the Rue Morgue one, and this is what it contains. But at that pledge level, you did get the Angry Neighbors, I believe. No, you don't. So this is what you get at the $100 level, which is fewer minis, fewer tiles, fewer scenarios, all that good stuff. To get that little bonus pack, like the Angry Neighbors pack is what this one's called, you actually had to back at the 150 level, which I do believe put them over as far as season 3 is concerned, as far as the amount of stuff they get. No. Well, maybe, let's see, 18. Okay, it would have been close. Not exactly, but relatively close. So yeah, we're talking between season 1 and season 3, roughly a 50% increase. So $100 to get a fair chunk of crap. With first Zombicide, now $150 to get the fair chunk of crap that comes with season 3. The one that really got me was this one. Like I said, I'm not hating on Zombicide. Zombicide's a guilty pleasure of mine. I've got the game on my shelf. Some of the games, not all of them, because I can't afford all of them. No one can. But here, I refuse to back this one because this, I thought maybe they got greedy. Maybe they paid too much for the license because it was Marvel. I'm not sure what it was, but the cost difference in quantity of what you were getting is nowhere near on par between season 3 and Marvel's, because they are not that far apart in the timeline. And we're looking here, the lowest pledge you can go now is 130. So it was like the lowest pledge was something like 75, then it bumped up to 100, and now we're up to 130. And that gets you one box and stretch goals. Just to get the two boxes, $240. That's cost prohibitive. That is too expensive. All right. And this is what I'm talking about. This right here should have never been split up, in my opinion. They should have found a way to drop this down, because Marvel Zombies and Marvel Zombies X-Men Resistance is what they called it, should have both been same pledge level, something like maybe 170, 175. I don't know. Maybe it's the license. Tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm being too hard. Shut up, Adobe. If I'm being too hard on them, if Disney's screwing over the company come on and Zombicide as far as the licensing for Marvel's considered, I don't know. If anything, they should just be getting a small royalty off of each game sold. It's just money in their pocket. But I don't know. Maybe they had to pay through the nose for the license for Marvel. But you have one box where basically the heroes become zombies and you're fighting off, or not fighting off, but you're trying to kill some of the non-zombie heroes and then civilians and stuff like that. Cool sounding game. And then you have one that adds in like the X-Men into it, and they're fighting zombies now. Oh, cool stuff. This is something I so would have jumped into. But I am not paying $240 for the real experience. And the real experience is having both of those boxes. You could get both the boxes in Zombicide for $100. You could get both the boxes in Zombicide Season 3 for $150 and $240 for both the boxes. But that's not all. If we continue to scroll down, this is what I'm talking about, man. Freaking $410. Are you kidding me? Look, I get it. It's cool. I would love to have Galactus on my shelf, for the friggin' nerd factor alone. But next time you use a hollow plastic or something, seriously. So the 2 boxes and Galactus, and that's it. And it jumps it up almost another 200. Well, it was my bad math. It's 170 more on top of it. This mini is not $170. Are you kidding me? So I can only imagine what the retail on that thing's gonna be. They'll probably charge like $500 for it or some stupid shit. But that adds into the core experience, the Galactus game piece. And the cool part is there's Galactus and then there's Zombie Galactus. And I was looking at this originally and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I want this on my shelf. I really want Galactus up there looking like a zombie because I love Marvel shit. Who doesn't love Marvel shit? There's Silver Surfer with him, but hell friggin' no, man. You can't afford it. Costs and everything else is going up. Gas is going up. Food's going up. Power is going up. Everything's going up. Soon they're going to be charging for oxygen in the air. Otherwise, they're going to make you suffocate to death. People just can't afford this crap. And then they have one more that, I mean, if you've already gone to the 410 level, there's no reason not to go to the 430 because it adds a whole bunch of extra minis. And they're probably paying for all of these through the cost that they're saying they're charging for this mini. And this is another one kind of like Madara where I'm like, you're just getting insulting at this point. The stuff's cool, but it's not worth all that. And this is where we kind of get into the FOMO thing again, because there comes a point where it's just overload. It's just too much. The average gamer is not going to play through all of this content, right? It's just going to be taking up a massive amount of space on their shelf. And that's something I had to convince myself of too. Like, I've got to be able to just back off at some point and accept good enough. I'd rather have some of the game experience than all of it when there's no way I'll touch all of it, right? Some stuff you can miss out on because you just don't need it. I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes plus a huge Galactus. Oh, but there's a 50% or a $50 discount of a $665 value. Look, you can get all of this for $650. No way. Just, it's too much. It's too much. It's overload at this point. And people can't afford it. Back in the day, my little thing is, hey, I'll back a Kickstarter a month. That'll be my little guilty pleasure. I can put $80 to $100 towards that, and I can have a game that's going to come to me a year from now, 6 months from now, however long it takes them to get the game to me, and I'll have something cool showing up on my doorstep every now and then, unless they're like some game companies who never deliver, and now this one is something like 2 years late, but that's a video I'll do later. But so many people, they can't afford this stuff anymore, and I wonder in a way if they're doing this stuff like doing the thing where you've seen like day one DLC for video games where they kind of paywall off a section of the game and like, well, there's this piece of the game, but if you really want the full experience, just pay us double and then you can have the full experience. But you don't get the huge cool mini with it unless you pay us triple, right? And they just keep going with it. And then you end up with this where you're like, I just can't do it anymore. And I guess it's just me because they definitely hit it 9 million. Hold up, let's see. Zombicide season 3. What was their total? I should have looked at that. Oh, come on, give me the total. Yeah, they only got 3 million. So the Marvel license definitely got it for them. 28,000 backers, almost 30,000 backers, really. For a $500,000 goal, they hit over 9 million. So they definitely made their money. Maybe it's just me bitching to myself on it. As far as the cost goes, I don't know. You guys tell me. Does it cost too much? Has it become too much to handle? Too much to wrap your mind around? Playing off that FOMO so hard to get you to spend your kids' college fund towards board games instead of just getting a box or two of just good gaming to have some fun with for a while until you move on to the next one. Let's see. They do have a late pledge open. Let's see if they jacked it up. Did they jack it up? Nope. I'll give them credit. They kept the price the same. Come on, I got props for you. You did better than Madara did. If they took the Madara route, this would be what, 1,000 Devourer pledge, the big one would probably be something like 3,500 plus, another 410 in shipping. Here's my thing, right? I wanted this, but I didn't want it without this cool piece with it. And it jacked it up so much that I was like, you know what? I'll just skip this one. And that's what I'm kind of worrying we're heading towards, is that people are going to keep doing that. Companies are going to keep doing that, going with some big, cool, awesome thing, but they're going to jack the price up so much. And more we're going to see people going, you know what? I'm just going to skip it entirely. I don't want to miss out on that. So I'm just not going to get involved with it at all. But if you guys do want it, it's there. By all means, buy yourself a $650 Devourer pledge. Honestly, I would be happy with the Galactus pledge, but there's no way. Being a family man, I know some of you people out there are family people as well. I can't in good conscience take that much money and put it towards a hobby that just I enjoy. My kids would have fun with it, but they wouldn't have enough fun with it that I shouldn't put that towards a playground set for, right? Or college funds or more responsible stuff, especially the way costs are going nowadays. I would just rather see companies, instead of looking for ways to go bigger, badder, bolder, and all that direction, look for a way to be more cost effective. With costs on everything else going up, try to give us as much gaming experience for the lowest price you possibly can. That's what we're looking for. Some of the games I've really loved have fit in my hand, just been a few dollars, cost me $10, and I love it because it's got a mess load of gameplay in one small box, and I can play it as much as I want, and it's friggin' portable. Anyway, that's enough bitching and griping and moaning for me. You guys put down your comments down below. I know some people are going to agree with me, some aren't going to agree with me, but it's up to each their own. I just think we're seeing it more and more. And it's costing more, it's getting bigger, and we're going to eventually hit the point where it's only going to be a rich man's game. All right, that's going to be it for me. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one. You are? Come here. You want to say hi to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. And my little girl just ran in to say hello. So do you want to say goodbye to everyone? Because we're right here at the end of the video. Can you say, bye, thank you for joining us.
Bye, you think you're there.
All right, give me a kiss. Oh, thank you, baby girl. All right, you guys take care, and I will catch you in the next one.
That's your zombie, Daddy.
That's a zombie game. Yes, it is.
You like zombie games?
I do like zombie games.